How's it going, everyone? I see we got a couple of people joining already. Nate, Alex, welcome. I'm going to do a Ask Me Anything session is what I'm going to do probably for the next hour. We're going to go through Cities of Venus Survivors. Let me know if my audio is okay. There we are. And let me know if the music's too loud or anything in the background. I want to make sure people can hear me. Maybe give me a thumbs up or send a note. I got my little feed here so I can see what your comments are. Likewise, if anybody wants to join on Discord, Tin Robot Games is our Discord channel. You can always type in questions there. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have on literally anything to do with Tin Robot Games, Cities of Venus as a universe, Cities of Venus Survivors, which is what we launched today, the current campaign that we're fulfilling. I know there's lots of questions on that as well. Literally anything. Feel free to ask me. That's what this session is about. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for just how amazing the community is and how well he did this morning. We funded in 90 minutes, which was insane. I could not believe that we funded as fast as we did. And I'm going to pull up TikTok over here as well while I'm at it. I hope you guys are cool with that. Just so I don't miss any questions if anybody has any questions. We funded in 90 minutes. It was amazing. And I think that there is a lot of learnings going into this particular campaign. And certainly there's some things that we'll probably do differently going forward. And a lot of things we're going to do the same. And what it is clear to me now is that there is a formula. I'm not going to say a magic formula because nothing's magic and there's no guarantees. But you can certainly set yourself up for the best possible outcome. Clearly, I don't have the audience size that some of the campaigns have out there or the marketing spend where those campaigns are enormous. But there's some things you can scale down to smaller bite sizes of things you can afford, which still allows you to have a good impact. And we'll go through a little bit of that on today's episode or this Ask Me Anything. But I would say a couple of things is one thing we tried, which came out of the crowdfunded school of learning. This is Mark Pakota's book from they're called Launch Boom. They've got this whole VIP program that they've set up, and this is all based on getting people upfront to commit even $1 to be part of the VIP program, and then you offer some kind of incentive. We offered a very lucrative incentive on ours, and it's not to cut anybody out or to make it too exclusive that people can't be involved. I mean, quite frankly, we e-blasted the heck out of that, so there's plenty of opportunities for people to join if they wanted to. But it's more to kind of find out what your commitment is going in, and we're constantly running the math on this end to make sure the numbers work before you launch. And, I host the Board Game Binge podcast. I'm not sure if any of you guys that are watching live right now follow the Board Game Binge podcast. But that podcast, it's got some very common themes that keep popping up over and over and over again. And I'd say one of the themes that pops up is never launch until you're ready. And a lot of people will set an artificial timeline in their mind that, I had in my head is going to launch by XYZ date. I have to launch by that date no matter what. That is a fallacy that you build up in your own mind that's not real. And Jamie Stagmeyer was often quoted as saying, if you delay your campaign, nothing bad will happen. But if you go forward with the campaign that's not ready, a whole lot of bad can happen. So I try to live by that. It's tough. Trust me, it is tough. But I do try to live by that to make sure that, I only launch when I'm ready. And part of the readiness is having that math going. First and foremost, I will never launch a campaign unless I have 1,000 links on Kickstarter where you can click notify me. That has to be at 1,000 or more, or I won't launch. It's just the math says that you can count on about 10 to 15% of those to actually translate into pledges. So if you do the numbers, anything less than 1,000, you're probably not going to hit the numbers you need to hit in order to have a decent sized campaign. It's very expensive to get people linked in. So for example, advertising, you work out your total advertising dollars. I know I'm talking advertising math, but this is important. Total advertising dollars divided by the number of signups you have, or people to give you their email, versus how many people actually fall through in a pledge. It works out to be about $17 US a backer is what you're paying per pledge. So this is the reason why you'll see that my campaigns tend to go with heavier, bigger games, bundles, lots of add-ons to try to get that price up. It's not because I want to charge more. It's because that is what funds the machine, right? That is what helps fund the advertising, which then brings backers, which then allows us to actually make the games. So that's why you'll see these larger campaigns, being around the price they're at, and the reason why we put so much stuff in the box to justify the price point you're paying, right? Because we want to make sure that, if you're paying for a game that's premium, you want to make sure that, at the very least that you're giving people something that they can open up and say, wow, that was worth the investment. That was definitely worth the investment. So that's why we do that. Let's see what kind of notifications we have here. Oh, wow. We got Barry Board Gamers. I've been jumping in to help us spread the word. I want to say thank you to any Barry Board Gamers that have been following us in our campaign. The question just came through, said, is there, other than pledging, is there anything people can do to help? There's a lot you can do to help with the campaign. The biggest one is actually sharing. If you know people that might be interested in the game, people that just want to contribute even $1, sharing it. That is one of the biggest things that people can do to help, other than pledge. So in lieu of pledging, or in addition to pledging, if you want to pledge and then continue to contribute, those are the one big areas you can contribute. Another area we can really contribute if you have pledged is commenting. So the algorithms are driven highly by the number of pledges you have come in, and then the activity you have on your page. And by activity, that's comments, right? So people basically chatting back and forth. And so if there's anything that, if anybody has, time where they don't mind putting a couple comments, anything as simple as love the game. Hey, that review that Tabletop Tolson did was awesome. Hey, I've got a question on how the XYZ works. It doesn't matter. It's just any kind of content that we can respond to in terms of a question gets logged as conversation, and the algorithms favor that. Likewise, Kick Tracks. So kicktracks.com, I think we're ranked number 2 right now. We're trending number 2, which is amazing. I'd love to get to number 1. They use comments and conversation as a metric as to whether something is kind of the hotness of something, so to speak, and then how it pushes it out. So those are the biggest ways that people can kind of contribute, either in lieu of doing a pledge or in addition to the pledge that they've done. Okay, let's jump into this actual campaign. I want to show this on my screen. I am so stoked. So I might have just been talking to myself for the past 20 minutes. Could someone say they hear me? I got tabletop vibes. I show a mic on this end. Test 1, 2. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up, thumbs down. For the past 20 minutes. Could someone say they hear me? I got tabletop vibes. So I can hear it coming through the dashboard. I can see the mic is live. All right, let me check Instagram. Instagram's a little funny sometimes. Sometimes it will. This is a funny thing too, is we're broadcasting on Board Game Binge instead of on I should probably do this on Tin Robot actually too. Let me see if I can get my voice coming through here. Can you hear me? Someone, thumbs up. Anybody? Yeah, even on TikTok. The dashboard. I can see the mic is live. There we are. Okay, we're live. All right. All right, let me check Instagram. Instagram's a little funny sometimes. But it does keep pausing. So we'll see if I keep blasting. Anyway, hopefully people are out there. I'm going to go through all this again anyways because I'm going to talk for the next hour. So if you're listening, where we're okay, so we're talking kind of how the exploration tiles are laid out. And the solo mode is essentially a lot more puzzly, a lot tougher, and there's a chance you might not actually get off the surface. So that's kind of the whole point of the solo mode, which is super cool. Oh, there's Megan. Megan responded. Finally, Megan, you're here. Megan Staley, who's also the designer of Bunny Drops. Check it out. It's an awesome game. Okay. Maybe give me a thumbs up, Megan. Could you hear me when I was doing the screen share or just when it's just me on screen? Because if you could hear me when I was on screen share, I'll go back to screen share because I want to show the... No bueno. All right, we'll keep going. 1 to 6 players. So we have 2 different versions. We got a 4-player version. We have a 6-player version. And this game will be in 5 languages. We're going to do digital rule books for all the languages except for English. And the reason for that is, quite frankly, I literally on the last campaign, I had committed to do 5 printed books. I had 1 backer in one of the languages. And I couldn't even reach them by email. They weren't even responding to their emails. So we did a full translation, printed book, for literally 1 backer, and that is absolutely not feasible. So let me see if I can hit Maggie here again. We're not going to do that. We're going to have just an English book, but we will still have digital books for the other languages. These are all these components are language independent. We do this for most of our games so that all we have to do is change the rule book and someone doesn't have to rely on having all these components and reference materials to say, okay, this tile does this or this tile does that. Literally just the rule book is all you have to change. The story behind this, year 2222, Earth has established floating cities in the clouds of Venus. Your miners sent to the surface by one of the cities to mine the valuable Venite mineral, universal power source. Unfortunately, your ascent thrusters fail and you cannot return to the city while awaiting your ultimate fate. You notice faint signals from the surface from cryostasis pods that have landed intact. With renewed hope, you are determined to find the survivors, cobble together whatever you can to launch a return vehicle and get everyone home. I'm going to share a screen here. Screen shares. Megan's just giving me some feedback that she can hear me. Tabletop Vibes can't hear me. He might have his thing on mute. All right, let's go back to Okay. Feedback I'm getting, I might actually whack this and start it again, is that anytime I share screen, my audio cuts out. So I think what I'm going to do is probably port this over to Tin Robot Games. So right now, if you're watching on Board Game Binge. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I'm going to port this over to Tin Robot Games. So if you guys, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. Join me live on @TinRobotGames. We'll continue the feed there. In the meantime, I'm going to try to find out. I don't know why when I switch. This is OBS issue. When you switch screens and start sharing, all of a sudden the audio cuts out. I'm going to try to set this up in my podcast frames because those ones seem to work no problem with sharing screens. So, okay, I will be back, guys, in 5 minutes.